What do the names Moises Caicedo, Alexis McAllister, Karu Mitoma, and Ben White have in common? They are all, or were all at one point or another, big-name Brighton stars, with even more to be added to this list in the near future with Evan Ferguson, Julio Enciso, and Facunda Buenanote. However, Brighton have yet another young kid returning to the club after a successful loan spell in Belgium, who is looking to make his debut for them this upcoming Premier League season after performing well enough during preseason in the Premier League Summer Series. This is the Ivory Coast-born winger, Simon Adingra. This is probably a name few Premier League fans have heard of before. So who is Simon Adingra? Adingra was born in Yamoussoukro, Ivory Coast, which is the capital, on January 1st, 2002, and began his footballing career at the Right to Dream Academy in Ghana. Okay, so he was born in the Ivory Coast and then started his career in Ghana. But how did he end up in England? So in 2020, Adingra followed a similar path to many West African youngsters when he moved from the Right to Dream Academy to FC Nordsjælland in the Danish Super League. Right to Dream Academy and FC Nordsjælland are owned by the same people, so the pipeline from the Ghanaian side to the Danish side is actually pretty common. A more well-known player who followed this track is Mohamed Kudus, who currently plays for Ajax but is linked to both Chelsea and Arsenal right now. Then at just 20 years old, in July 2022, Adingra moved from FC Nordsjælland to Brighton for €8 million. And that's how he ended up in England. Okay, so he was signed in July 2022, but he didn't play for them until this summer, which is 2023. So what happened in between? For the 2022-23 season, Adingra was sent on loan to Royal Union Saint-Gilloise in the Jupiler Pro League, which is the top league in Belgium. Brighton and Union SG are owned by the same man, Tony Bloom. And in the season before Adingra's arrival, Mitoma was actually loaned there, and helped lead them to a second place finish. So if Adingra now makes Brighton's roster, he must have had a pretty good season in Belgium. Adingra finished the 2022-23 season with 30 goal contributions in total, with 15 goals and 15 assists, marking his best season ever as a professional footballer, and helped Union SG finish third in the Jupiler Pro League. Keep in mind, all this while still being in a European competition, the Europa League. Although Union SG only came in third in Belgium, they actually tied with second place Genk on points, but only came in third due to goal difference, and were only 1 point behind winners Antwerp, and they made it all the way to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, beating the likes of Union Berlin, Malmo, and Braga on the way, before being dispatched by Xabi Alonso's Bayern Leverkusen, 2-5 on aggregate. Although they managed to tie the away fixture 1-1, they lost the home one 1-4. Okay, so Adingra lit it up in the Belgian league, but does he have the ability to play in the Premier League? During his 1 year in Belgium, Mitoma scored 8 goals and notched 4 assists, and this was enough for Brighton to give him a chance in the Premier League the following season. And he lit it up in the Premier League this past season. So it's not far off to see why Brighton is going to now take Adingra, who had an even better year in Belgium, and give him a chance in the Premier League. And with Brighton being in the Europa League this coming season, Adingra is actually one of the few players with experience in a European club competition. And Adingra played pretty well during preseason, especially against Brentford. He scored 2 goals in that game, showed off his fearless dribbling ability and exceptional first touch. And paired with the likes of Karu Mitoma, Moises Caicedo, Julio Enciso, and Evan Ferguson, this is an extremely exciting Brighton team to watch, and it'll be interesting to see how they fare in the Premier League this coming season, while also being in the Europa League. Although I don't think Adingra will start, at least to begin the season, I think his role with the team will grow as the season progresses, and we'll really be able to see why he's Brighton's next superstar.